Ever feel like hotel staff treat you like just another room number? Here's what they hope you never find out about the game they're really playing. The hotel industry has trained you to believe housekeepers are invisible, but these 14 insider moves separate the guests who get premium treatment from those who get the bare minimum. While most travelers stumble through their stays completely blind to this system, you're about to discover exactly how the professionals work the game. And when you see these numbers, you'll understand why this knowledge is worth thousands in better service. Number 1, daily cash tips. Here's what the hotel industry doesn't want you to know. Only 40% of guests actually tip their housekeeper, and most of those who do are doing it completely wrong. The median housekeeper salary ranges from $21,000 to $30,000 annually in the US, which means they're literally depending on your tips to survive. But here's where it gets interesting. Most guests who tip leave everything at checkout, and that's exactly the mistake the hotels hope you'll make. Here's what seasoned travelers know. Leave $1 to $5 cash daily in an envelope marked for housekeeping with a thank you note. Daily tipping ensures the right person gets it, especially since staff rotates frequently between shifts. But here's the part they don't tell you. Early appreciation signals often result in extra amenities, like more towels, better room positioning, or faster service requests. While 60% of guests walk away thinking they're saving money, you're building a relationship that pays dividends throughout your entire stay. The housekeepers clean 15 to 20 rooms during their 8 to 10 hour shifts, and when they know you appreciate their work early, you become priority number 1. That's the difference between getting standard service and getting insider treatment that makes your stay memorable. Number 2, using their names. Housekeepers wear name tags for a reason most guests completely miss. They're hoping you'll actually use their name. Here's what the industry doesn't advertise. Most guests treat housekeepers like invisible furniture, never acknowledging them in hallways or referring to them as anything but the cleaning lady. This isn't just rude, it's costing you better service. When you use their name, saying "Good morning, Maria" or "Thank you, Carlos," you're doing something that literally changes their entire day. Many housekeepers report feeling completely invisible otherwise, working long hours in what feels like an isolating environment. But here's where the professional advantage kicks in. The moment you use their name, you're no longer just room 237 inches, their quota of 15 to 20 rooms. You become a real person they want to take care of. This simple act breaks through the invisible worker barrier and creates a personal connection that directly influences service quality. While other guests remain anonymous numbers, you're building relationships that translate into extra attention to detail, faster response times, and often small favors that make your stay significantly better. Seasoned pros know this costs nothing but returns everything. Number 3, survey mentions. Here's what hotels don't advertise. Your feedback directly impacts housekeeper promotions, bonuses, and job security in ways that most guests never realize. The critical detail that separates insider guests from everyone else is understanding that specific name mentions in surveys carry exponentially more weight than generic praise. And here's the part that really matters. Positive reviews can counter negative feedback from their toughest days. Many housekeepers depend on guest recognition for advancement opportunities, but here's what makes the difference: specificity. Writing, "Our housekeeper Anna kept the room spotless," proves exceptional service and helps management identify standout employees. Generic comments like "room was clean" provide zero benefit to the individual who served you. But here's where it gets strategic. Time your feedback during your stay rather than waiting until checkout. Submit specific praise through official hotel surveys or review platforms, and skip the vague compliments that sound like automated responses. While most guests leave generic reviews or none at all, you're wielding the one tool that can actually change someone's career trajectory. Professional travelers understand this isn't just about being nice, it's about creating allies in the system who remember and prioritize guests who advocate for them. Number 4, communication timing. Housekeepers work like human Tetris. Every room has to fit into an exact schedule, and unpredictable guests destroy their entire day. Here's what the industry hopes you don't understand. Their shift is a carefully choreographed puzzle where timing disruptions cascade through their entire 15 to 20 room quota. But here's what separates professional travelers from everyone else: they share their routine strategically. At check-in, tell them your schedule. I'm out for breakfast from 8 to 9 a.m. daily, or I have meetings until 2 p.m. This isn't about being controlling, it's about giving them the predictability they need to work efficiently. When they can plan around your schedule, they avoid multiple knocking attempts, reduce delays, and can focus their 20 to 40 minutes per room on actual cleaning instead of timing gymnastics. Here's the insider advantage. Use notes to communicate schedule changes, and you'll notice the difference immediately. They'll clean while you're out, reducing disruptions for you and keeping their workflow smooth. While most guests force housekeepers to guess and adapt constantly, you're providing the information they need to excel. And efficiency in their schedule translates directly to better attention and service quality for your room. Number 5, do not disturb strategy. Hotels have strict security protocols about extended do not disturb signs that can actually create problems for housekeeping staff, but here's what they don't tell you about the policy. When signs stay up over 24 hours, hotels trigger mandatory security checks for safety reasons, which creates extra work and potential complications for your housekeeper. But there's a strategic way to handle this that most guests miss completely. Here's the professional approach. Hang the sign when you need privacy, but remove it when you leave your room. This signals availability for cleaning without forcing awkward interruptions. If you're planning to skip housekeeping service entirely, here's what seasoned travelers know: leave a tip to compensate for their potentially lost hours, because widespread cleaning declines can reduce their total shift pay. The insider move is understanding that proper do not disturb usage works with their system instead of against it. Use it strategically for naps or private time, but don't treat it as a permanent barrier. While most guests either never use the sign or leave it up indefinitely, you're optimizing the balance between your privacy needs and their work requirements. This consideration doesn't go unnoticed and often results in more flexible service when you actually need it. Number 6, room organization. Housekeepers have 20 to 40 minutes per room, and scattered belongings can eat up half that time before they even start actual cleaning. Here's what the industry doesn't want you to realize. The time they spend collecting your scattered clothes and toiletries is time not spent on deep cleaning your space. But there's a specific organization strategy that transforms you into their favorite type of guest. Here's what kills their efficiency: clothes scattered across all furniture, toiletries spread throughout the bathroom, personal items creating obstacle courses, and dirty undergarments left in random locations. While you don't need perfection, using the provided drawers, keeping toiletries grouped in designated areas, and maintaining clear pathways saves them significant time and energy. But here's where the professional advantage shows up. Tidy guests become their favorites because housekeepers can focus on actual cleaning instead of playing treasure hunt with your belongings. This favoritism translates into more thorough cleaning, extra attention to details like perfect towel arrangements, and often small touches that make your room feel more premium. While amateur travelers create chaos that frustrates their housekeeper, you're creating conditions that allow them to do their best work, and that investment in their success returns to you in service quality. Number 7, laundry signals. There's a specific way to handle dirty linens that communicates exactly what you want, but most guests get this completely backwards. Here's what separates insider knowledge from amateur mistakes. The location and arrangement of your used towels and sheets sends direct signals about what needs replacement, and getting this wrong can result in missed opportunities for fresh linens. Here's the professional protocol: pile used towels and sheets in one floor location before housekeeping arrives. This consolidation signals a clear need for replacement and saves them search time across multiple bathroom and bedroom locations. But here's the critical detail most guests miss. Don't make your bed if you've actually used it, because housekeepers might skip fresh linens, assuming it was unused overnight. The insider advantage comes from understanding their decision-making process. Clear signals lead to better results. When they see consolidated dirty linens, they know exactly what to replace without guessing. While most guests leave laundry scattered everywhere, forcing housekeepers to make assumptions about what needs changing, you're providing unmistakable communication that ensures you get fresh linens every time. This attention to their workflow translates into more thorough service and fewer missed details throughout your stay. Number 8, language navigation. Many housekeepers speak English as a second or third language while working exhausted 8 to 10-hour shifts, and your communication style directly impacts the service quality you receive. Here's what the industry hopes you don't understand. Patience with language barriers often results in extra effort from staff who appreciate your understanding, while frustration creates barriers that affect your entire stay. Here's the professional approach. Speak clearly and slowly without being condescending. Use simple and direct language for any requests, and write down complex instructions when needed. The goal isn't to avoid communication, it's to make communication more effective for both of you. When they're handling 15 to 20 rooms per shift, clear communication saves time and reduces stress. But here's where seasoned travelers separate themselves. They understand that showing patience during communication challenges builds goodwill that extends beyond language. Staff members remember guests who treat them with respect during difficult interactions, and this memory translates into prioritized service. While frustrated guests create negative associations that can affect their treatment, you're building positive relationships that enhance every aspect of your stay. The investment in patient communication returns in better service quality and often extra accommodations that other guests never receive. Number 9, boundary respect. Housekeepers operate under strict guidelines that can cost them their jobs, and understanding these boundaries prevents awkward situations while demonstrating your insider knowledge. Here's what most guests don't realize. Requests for personal favors outside their job scope put them in impossible positions where saying yes violates policies and saying no might offend guests. Here's what not to request: storage in staff areas, sharing Wi-Fi passwords, personal favors beyond room service, or anything that requires bending hotel policies. These might seem like small asks to you, but they can create serious professional risks for housekeeping staff. The professional mindset understands that respecting their constraints shows you understand the game they're playing. But here's where this knowledge becomes an advantage. When you demonstrate awareness of their professional boundaries, you're signaling that you're a guest who understands how hotels operate. This recognition earns respect and often results in better service within their allowed parameters. While other guests unknowingly put staff in difficult positions, you're building trust by showing you respect their professional limitations. Insiders know that boundary respect creates stronger relationships than inappropriate requests ever could, and those relationships translate into premium treatment throughout your stay. Number 10, gift strategy. Many housekeepers are immigrants supporting 5 to 10 family members back home, which means your tip strategy needs to reflect economic realities that most guests never consider. Here's what separates professional giving from amateur attempts: understanding the practical constraints of their living situations and income needs. Cash remains preferred because it can be sent internationally to support extended families, but there's a strategic approach to gifts that works. Here's what works when you want to give beyond cash. Unopened snacks, chocolates, or drinks left with a clear note work well because crew quarters are typically tiny and consumable items don't create storage problems. But here's what to avoid: souvenirs, cologne, or bulky items that they can't use or store in shared living spaces. The insider calculation recognizes that your 5 daily tip might literally fund a child's education back home, which changes how you view the exchange. When you understand that perspective, your giving becomes more strategic and meaningful. While most guests either give nothing or give inappropriate items, you're providing support that addresses real financial needs. Professional travelers understand the economics. Housekeepers often work long hours away from their own families to support others. And your thoughtful giving acknowledges that sacrifice while building relationships that enhance your service experience. Number 11, schedule balance. Declining daily housekeeping affects their hours and pay in ways most eco-conscious guests don't realize, but there's a strategic approach that balances environmental concerns with their livelihood. Here's what the industry doesn't advertise. Widespread cleaning declines can reduce housekeepers' total work hours and income, since they're often paid per room or shift rather than salary. Here's the professional balance. If environmental concerns motivate you to skip cleaning, tip to offset their lost income, and consider requesting every other day service instead of complete cleaning declines. This compromise reduces environmental impact while maintaining their work availability. When you do skip service, understand that you're affecting their daily quota and potentially their pay. But here's where insider knowledge makes the difference. Communicate your preferences at check-in so they can plan accordingly rather than discovering declined service unexpectedly. Smart travelers find solutions that work for everyone, reducing frequency without eliminating income opportunities. While some guests decline service without considering the impact on workers, you're balancing your values with their economic needs. This consideration doesn't go unnoticed and often results in extra attention when you do request service because they appreciate guests who understand the human cost of environmental choices. Number 12. Custom timing. Smart timing requests can transform both your experience and their workflow efficiency, but most guests accept default schedules without realizing the customization options available. Here's what separates professional stays from amateur experiences. Understanding that housekeeping schedules can be optimized for mutual benefit when you communicate strategically. Here's the strategic approach. Late sleepers should request afternoon cleaning, early risers can optimize morning service, and business travelers should coordinate around meeting schedules. This prevents disruptions to your schedule while maintaining their workflow efficiency. When they clean while you're out, they can work more thoroughly without navigating around your presence or belongings. But here's the insider advantage. Custom timing often results in better cleaning quality because they can focus completely on your room without time pressure from guest interactions. They prefer working in empty rooms where they can move efficiently and pay attention to details. While most guests force housekeepers to work around unpredictable schedules, you're creating optimal conditions for their best work. Professional travelers understand that customized timing benefits everyone. You get undisturbed space when you need it, and they get the conditions they need to excel. This mutual optimization often translates into premium service quality that exceeds standard expectations. Number 13, human recognition. Most guests treat housekeepers like furniture, but simple acknowledgement creates dramatic service differences that most travelers never realize. Here's what the industry hopes you don't discover. Basic human recognition costs nothing, but often results in extra attention to your room details, faster response times, and informal favors that enhance your stay significantly. Here's the recognition strategy that works. Eye contact and genuine smiles in hallways, saying thank you when passing in corridors, and treating them as people rather than service robots during any interaction. This isn't about being fake, it's about acknowledging the human providing your service. Many housekeepers report feeling invisible during their shifts, so genuine recognition breaks through that isolation. But here's where seasoned travelers separate themselves. They understand that basic courtesy builds goodwill that compounds throughout the stay. Staff members remember guests who treat them respectfully, and this memory influences everything from cleaning thoroughness to response times for special requests. While others ignore housekeeping staff completely, you're building relationships that translate into better service. The professional difference is understanding that these interactions aren't just polite, they're strategic investments in service quality that return value far beyond the minimal effort required to be genuinely courteous to. People working hard to make your stay comfortable. Number 14, understanding their reality. Behind every housekeeper is a story most guests never consider. But understanding this context changes everything about how you interact and what you can expect in return. Here's what the industry doesn't want you to think about. These aren't just service providers. They're people making significant personal sacrifices, working long hours away from their own families while supporting extended networks with limited income. Here's the reality check. Many work 8 to 10-hour shifts, cleaning 15 to 20 rooms daily, often supporting 5 to 10 family members back home, with wages that median between $21,000 and $30,000 annually. Your tips and kindness might literally be the difference between someone's child attending school or not, which puts every interaction in perspective. But here's what separates insider travelers from everyone else. They understand the human element behind the service. This perspective doesn't just improve your stay, it makes you the kind of guest they remember and prioritize. While most guests see housekeeping as invisible service, professionals understand that recognition, fair compensation, and basic respect create relationships that transform ordinary stays into exceptional experiences. The ultimate advantage isn't just better service. It's knowing that your approach makes a real difference in someone's life while simultaneously elevating your own travel experience. That's exactly how you separate yourself from the 60% of guests who tip nothing and the others who tip wrong.